Dear students, today we are going to study about cell. This module gives you basic informations about cell. Before going further to main topic, let's see first about some historical events related to cell discovery, and the scientists worked on it. For the first time in history, Robert Hooke discovered the cell in 1665. He observed a piece of bottle cork under a compound microscope, and noticed minuscule, small structures that reminded him of small rooms. Consequently, he named these rooms as cells. However, his compound microscope had limited magnification, and hence, he could not see any details in the structure. Owing to this limitation, Hooke concluded that these were non-living entities. Later, Anton van Leeuwenhoek observed cells under another compound microscope with higher magnification. This time, he had noted that the cells exhibited some form of movement, motility. As a result, Leeuwenhoek concluded that these microscopic entities were alive. Eventually, after a host of other observations, these entities were named as animalcules. In 1883, Robert Brown, a Scottish botanist, provided the very first insights into the cell structure. He was able to describe the nucleus present in the cells of orchids. Now let's see about different characteristics of cells. Number 1. Cells provide structure and support to the body of an organism. Number 2. The cell interior is organized into different individual organelles, surrounded by a separate membrane. Number 3. The nucleus, major organelle, holds genetic information necessary for reproduction and cell growth. For every cell has one nucleus and membrane-bound organelles. In the cytoplasm. Number 5. Mitochondria is mainly responsible for the energy transactions vital for the survival of the cell. Number 6. Lysosomes digest unwanted materials in the cell. Number 7. Endoplasmic reticulum plays a significant role in the internal organization of the cell by synthesizing selective molecules and processing, directing and sorting them to their appropriate locations. Types of cells. Cells are similar to factories with different laborers and departments that work towards a common objective. Various types of cells perform different functions. Based on cellular structure, there are two types of cells. Number 1. Prokaryotes. Number 2. Eukaryotes. Prokaryotic cells. Number 1. Prokaryotic cells have no nucleus. Instead, some prokaryotes such as bacteria have a region within the cell where the genetic material is freely suspended. This region is called the nucleoid. Number 2. They all are single-celled microorganisms. Examples include archaea, bacteria, and cyanobacteria. Number 3. The cell size ranges from 0.1 to 0.5 m in diameter. Number 4. The hereditary material can either be DNA or RNA. Number 5. Prokaryotes generally reproduce by binary fission, a form of asexual reproduction. They are also known to use conjugation, which is often seen as the prokaryotic equivalent to sexual reproduction. However, it is not sexual reproduction. Eukaryotic cells. Number 1. Eukaryotic cells are characterized by a true nucleus. Number 2. The size of the cells ranges between 10–100 m in diameter. Number 3. This broad category involves plants, fungi, protozoans, and animals. Number 4. The plasma membrane is responsible for monitoring the transport of nutrients and electrolytes in and out of the cells. It is also responsible for cell-to-cell communication. Number 5. They reproduce sexually as well as asexually. Number 6. There are some contrasting features between plant and animal cells. For example, the plant cell contains chloroplast, central vacuoles, and other plastids, whereas the animal cells do not. Cell structure. The cell structure comprises individual components with specific functions essential to carry out life's processes. These components include 1. Cell wall, 2. Cell membrane, 3. Cytoplasm, 4. Nucleus, and 5. Cell organelles. Cell membrane. The cell membrane supports and protects the cell. It controls the movement of substances in and out of the cells. It separates the cell from the external environment. The cell membrane is present in all the cells. The cell membrane is the outer covering of a cell within which all other organelles, such as the cytoplasm and nucleus, are enclosed. It is also referred to as the plasma membrane. By structure, it is a porous membrane, with pores, which permits the movement of selective substances in and out of the cell. Besides this, the cell membrane also protects the cellular component from damage and leakage. It forms the wall-like structure between two cells as well as between the cell and its surroundings. Plants are immobile, so their cell structures are well adapted to protect them from external factors. The cell wall helps to reinforce this function. Cell wall. The cell wall is the most prominent part of the plant cell structure. It is made up of cellulose, hemicellulose, and pectin. The cell wall is present exclusively in plant cells. It protects the plasma membrane and other cellular components. The cell wall is also the outermost layer of plant cells. It is a rigid and stiff structure surrounding the cell membrane. It provides shape and support to the cells, and protects them from mechanical shocks and injuries. Cytoplasm. The cytoplasm is a thick, clear, jelly-like substance present inside the cell membrane. Most of the chemical reactions within a cell take place in this cytoplasm. The cell organelles such as endoplasmic reticulum, vacuoles, mitochondria, ribosomes, are suspended in this cytoplasm. Nucleus. The nucleus contains the hereditary material of the cell, the DNA. It sends signals to the cells to grow, mature, divide and die. The nucleus is surrounded by the nuclear envelope that separates the DNA from the rest of the cell. The nucleus protects the DNA and is an integral component of a plant cell structure. Cell theory. Cell theory was proposed by the German scientists 1. Theodor Schwann, 2. Matthias Schleiden, and 3. Rudolf Virchow. The cell theory states that all living species on Earth are composed of cells. A cell is the basic unit of life. All cells arise from pre-existing cells. A modern version of the cell theory was eventually formulated, and it contains the following postulates. 1. Energy flows within the cells. 2. Genetic information is passed on from one cell to the other. 3. The chemical composition of all the cells is the same. Functions of cell. A cell performs major functions essential for the growth and development of an organism. Important functions of cell are as follows. Number 1. Provides support and structure. All the organisms are made up of cells. They form the structural basis of all the organisms. The cell wall and the cell membrane are the main components that function to provide support and structure to the organism. 4. Egg. The skin is made up of a large number of cells. Xylem present in the vascular plants is made of cells that provide structural support to the plants. Number 2. Facilitate growth. Mitosis. In the process of mitosis, the parent cell divides into the daughter cells. Thus, the cells multiply and facilitate the growth in an organism. Number 3. Allows transport of substances. Various nutrients are imported by the cells to carry out various chemical processes going on inside the cells. The waste produced by the chemical processes is eliminated from the cells by active and passive transport. Small molecules such as oxygen, carbon dioxide, and ethanol diffuse across the cell membrane along the concentration gradient. This is known as passive transport. The larger molecules diffuse across the cell membrane through active transport, where the cells require a lot of energy to transport the substances. Number 4. Energy production. Cells require energy to carry out various chemical processes. This energy is produced by the cells through a process called photosynthesis in plants and respiration in animals. Number 5. Aids in reproduction. A cell aids in reproduction through the processes called mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis is termed as the asexual reproduction, where the parent cell divides to form daughter cells. Meiosis causes the daughter cells to be genetically different from the parent cells. Okay then, what are cell organelles? Here, in the diagram, we see a cell and inside it there are many cell organelles. The cellular components are called cell organelles. These cell organelles include both membrane and non-membrane bound organelles, present within the cells and are distinct in their structures and functions. They coordinate and function efficiently for the normal functioning of the cell. A few of them function by providing shape and support, whereas some are involved in the locomotion and reproduction of a cell. There are various organelles present within the cell, and are classified into 3 categories based on the presence or absence of membrane. Type cell organelles. Here, in the diagram, different organelles are shown, for example, nucleus, mitochondria, ribosome, etc. The cell organelles can be grouped into 3 types. 1. Organelles without membrane. 2. Single membrane bound organelles. 3. Double membrane bound organelles. 1. Organelles without membrane. The cell wall, ribosomes, and cytoskeleton. They are present both in the prokaryotic cell and the eukaryotic cell. Single membrane bound organelles. 1. Vacuole. 2. Lysosome. 3. Golgi apparatus. 4. Endoplasmic reticulum. All these organelles are shown in the diagram also. They are present only in a eukaryotic cell. Double membrane bound organelles. 1. Nucleus. To mitochondria. 3. Chloroplast. All these organelles are shown in the diagram also. They are present only in a eukaryotic cell.